Hello everybody and welcome to Shallow Golf, the #1 YouTube channel for bang average golfers. We're here today at Stonebridge Golf Club playing the Blythe course. This will be a 9-hole match between myself, Chris and Dave. And this is Dave on the first tee with a 3-wood which he hits about 245 yards. A solid tee shot straight into the middle of the fairway. My tee shot goes just a bit shorter than Dave's, 231 yards or so, just to be expected because Dave lifts a lot of weights. For my second shot, 190 yard, 4 hybrid, and I absolutely smoked it and hit it over the back edge of the green unfortunately. Dave just taking a nice easy 8-iron from 175 yards, and he puts that to about 15-20 feet. I knocked down a little bump and run there. Goes alright, 2 or 3 feet for birdie, which is ideal. Here's Dave for an eagle. Very in sync there, and it will just go by and leave himself a very easy tapping for a birdie, which you love to see at 7 o'clock in the morning. And my putt isn't too difficult for a birdie as well, and that's hole 1, all square. On to the next. Okay, moving on to hole 2, we have a par 4 which is 315 yards and dogleg to the left. A little bit of danger on the left with some water, not really in play, and also a ditch just at the trees that you can see in the far right, also not really in play. So I took a 7-iron and it went okay, about 170 odd yards, and Dave took a 6-iron which he pulled to the left, and unfortunately had enough to get over the water. My pitching wedge unfortunately went absolutely miles and flew over the green, and Dave's approach wedge, although he says he hit it thin, it did go about 60 feet in the air and did stick the green, so I'm not too sure about that claim. 8-iron bump and run from me, gets to about 6 feet or so, probably should have done a little bit better there. Dave's got another chance at birdie, which will just slide by. A little bit of work to do to get back for his par. And he will indeed make that putt. A little bit of a fist bump there, you can tell it means a lot to him. Here's my attempt at a par. I think I had about 6 feet or so, and I'm not sure what happened there. I think my arms turned into spoons, and my putt coming back for bogey, which I will go ahead and make, and that puts Dave 1 up in the match. And moving on to hole 3 with Dave 1 up. We've got a pretty straight away par 3, trees down the right, the miss is definitely left onto the 9th hole. Dave taking a 6-iron and pulling it a little bit left, leaving himself an alright shot at the green. I also opt to take the 6-iron. I chunk it a fair bit, but it does somehow still go out about 160 yards or so, leaving me a lob wedge in, which I blade over the back of the green, which is a little bit annoying. Dave with a sand wedge from 30 odd yards, pretty nice shot, leaves himself a putt, and I just drop a bump and run up and leave it very short, which is a shame. Dave's got a chance at par here with his putter. Unfortunately Dave did not have his breakfast before coming out, so he left that one short, a little like I did, but he will go ahead and make his bogey. Now I get a shot here, so if I make this putt then I will indeed win the hole, which would be nice, but unfortunately I have left it short. So moving on to hole 4, not too much going on with this hole. There's a couple of bunkers down the right, down the left there's a lake which you don't want to be in. The mist tends to be over the hills on the right. Dave opted to take a 4-iron and I took a 4 hybrid. Both pretty good shots actually on the fairway, leaving Dave a nice approach wedge in from 110, which clearly disgusted with the divot, although that did again make the green. I've got a nice 85 yards wedge shot, which goes just over the back edge of the green. Dave has a little chip, has a little go at the hole, but he must have had his breakfast between the last hole and this hole as he's smashed it past the hole. Now I've got a chance at birdie from quite some distance, maybe 25 feet. And we will go ahead and make it absolute scenes in the gallery. You wouldn't believe what was going on in the background. Beer everywhere. And that does mean that I have won the hole and take it back to all square in the match. Moving on to hole 5, fairly straight away, par 4, 335 yards, a couple of bunkers down the right. I had absolutely no idea where this shot went, but fortunately Dave managed to see it, and it ended up on the right hand side of the fairway. Dave taking a 4-iron, also pretty good. He ends up down the left hand side of the fairway. I've got 130 yards in, so I take pitching wedge and proceed to chunk it, which wasn't great. And there's Dave's pitching wedge and my trolley making a rogue appearance. I had a little bit of a tricky lie for that lob wedge shot. The ball was sort of on the slope, so I had 1 foot far beneath the other. Had a pretty good go at it, to be honest.
Pretty
didn't
good.
come off too bad, but unfortunately, as you can see, Dave chipped it to about 1 foot, made his putt, and he does go one up going into the 6th hole. So hole 6, we also lost the tee shots due to some storage issues. As you can't see, my ball is in a ridiculous lie, well under the ground. Pretty difficult shot. I've got about 85 yards to the hole, so I took my lob wedge just to give myself a good chance of going at it, and hopefully it would pop out, and it did come out alright. It just went over the back edge of the green. That seems to be the way with a lot of my shots today. Some abysmal camera work here. With my 8-iron, I just bump and run it to not very close, to be honest, maybe 10 feet or so. And Dave with another birdie. This guy is a bandit. He pretends it's a 10 handicap, but he is an absolute fraud. And I will, for the sake of finishing off the hole, have a putt for bogey, which I'll miss, and then I will go ahead and make a double, which isn't ideal, but it's to be expected when you're a 21 handicap. It's a pretty tough par 3 as well. So Dave moves 2 up going into the 7th hole, which is a hard dogleg right, par 4. Dave opts to take a 7-iron just to get it down there onto the fairway and leave himself a wedge in, and I opt for a 6-iron.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Similar tactic to Dave, really. I just
left.
like to get it down the fairway a little bit further. Dave left himself a nice approach wedge in.
Classic Dave.
Only 125 yards or so. Bit of the slope down to take into consideration. And I have a sand wedge. The greenkeeper was actually on the right hand side of the green, so I like to say that's why I pulled it left, but really I just missed. And I take another 8-iron bump and run, and again leave it short. So notes for next time: don't leave your bump and run short. And again, unfortunately, my putt is slightly short, and I will go ahead and tap that in for my bogey. Now, I did get a shot there, so it would be ideal if Dave missed this. Unfortunately, Dave is on an absolute mad one and has indeed holed yet another putt. And that brings it to a conclusion in the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.